health and safety a part of every adventure, you're taking care of what matters most, your life, your health.
KSL News Times 8:59. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the nines. Brought to you by UCCU. Big on business, including commercial loans. Love where you bank. Here's Cormac Bone.
Northbound I-15, just a little bit of delay from the I-80-201 interchange up to 13th South, but that should be the only slowdown you see from Provo all the way into Salt Lake. Where we do have heavier delays is in Lehigh, eastbound 2100 north from Redwood Road over to I-15, and westbound on Pioneer Crossing, pretty dense now in this construction zone from Redwood Road all the way over to Mountain View Corridor. Aubrey?
15, seeing no delays from Ogden all the way into downtown Salt Lake City. That'll take you about 30 minutes right now. Still seeing pockets of slowing on SR 193 as you head from West Point up to I-15 and on Highway 89 from South Ogden over into Uinta. Use Superior Water and Air for all your HVAC and water treatment needs. Call 974-9090 or visit superiorwaterandair.com. Superior Water and Air. We got this. I'm Aubrey Withrich in the KSL Traffic Center.
We've got a chance of rain today, a really good chance of rain tomorrow. Today's high will be 92, then we're down into the 80s starting tomorrow for the rest of the 7 to 81 for a high tomorrow. 75 right now. Have a great movie show, Andy.
Thanks, Amanda. Have a great weekend.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
9 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. Our top story this hour, investigators are now looking into what caused a county-wide power outage in southern Utah, but answers may take some time. More than 14,000 households in Washington County went hours without power yesterday evening. It was just after 10 p.m. that power started returning by using scheduled rolling blackouts. That's what Dixie Power's Chief Operation Officer Colin Jack said.
And let a home cool, let an area of town cool off and then shift to another area of town. All of us within our individual systems will be working through that.
Rocky Mountain Power says it could take days or weeks for them to finish their investigation. Heat has been cited as a previous issue for outages this summer. A developer wants a rezone of about 10 acres of land in Salt Lake City's northwest quadrant. The land is currently mostly vacant and zoned for agricultural use. If the zoning is changed to allow light manufacturing, that could allow construction of a data center. Neighbors in the area are concerned about noise and visual impacts that any development could bring. The developer plans to plant trees and construct stone walls to mitigate those problems. The City Council will take public comment on September 22nd and could vote on the rezone on October 6th. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Jurors are now deliberating in Massachusetts in the trial of Lindsay Clancy. Jurors just asked to see some evidence in the case, 2 bags of pills and a knife. The 9 women and 3 men will decide whether Clancy intentionally murdered her 3 children back in 2023. Defense attorneys say she was suffering from postpartum psychosis. Your money at this moment. Right now, the Dow is up 228 points. We're at 53,797. Coming up, we've got rain in the forecast this weekend. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 9:02. Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Amanda, every business needs IT help. And sometimes you've got that guy who already works for your company who knows how to do this stuff. But sometimes you don't. Or the guy who knows the IT stuff, that's not his actual job.
Right. So Les Olson IT they can be your 24/7 help desk. They can support your existing help desk. They can do advanced cybersecurity protection. Maybe just come and take a look. Are you subject to phishing or ransomware or other things? What are the cyber threats you're facing?
And you've got to make sure that your data is secure. So both cloud and data backup solutions, they can help you with that. Plus, everybody's got to use a computer. That's where hardware comes in, infrastructure support. You don't have to know all this stuff because Les Olson IT knows it.
And most of the time, they can help you fix whatever's going wrong remotely, just off your computer. Plus, of course, they have copiers and printers. They always will at the very best price.
Les Olson IT is your trusted local IT partner. They've been in business for 70 years, and they've got 9 locations from Logan to Las Vegas.
Find out more at lesolson.com.
I was called out on a case in the burbs. A pretty little house. Nice landscaping. The owner was obviously upset.
It's horrible. Look.
Scandalous, to say the least. There it was. A brand new oak tree, dead as a doornail. But why?
I only bought it from the nursery a few months ago.
I stepped over the chalk line and dug down to investigate. Sure enough, circling roots. Like most nursery pots, this one, it caused the roots to spiral around the tree. It was death by strangulation. You should have bought a super tree, I said.
Super tree?
Super trees are grown in special air pods to promote superior root development and prevent roots from circling. Super trees grow faster, stronger, and have better foliage, she said.
My landscaping will never be the same.
I tipped my hat and said, case closed.
Visit Super Trees and receive 10% off. Super Trees at the Riverton Nursery, 2767 West, 126 South, or online at supertrees.com.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by UCCU. Big on business, including sweep accounts. Love where you bank. And here's Cormac Bone.
Northbound I-15, just a little slow still, approaching 13th South, but otherwise I-15 looking good in both directions between Ogden and Provo. Eastbound I-80, that right lane pretty regularly full between Kimball Junction and the US 40 turnoff. When things go wrong in Utah's backcountry, Search and Rescue answers the call. Trained volunteers who head into danger so you can come home safe. Support them at rescue.utah.gov. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
Mostly cloudy today, a chance we'll see some rain. It'll be warm. We'll get up to 92 degrees, much cooler tomorrow. Just 81 for a high tomorrow with a really good chance of thunderstorms tomorrow. Right now it's 75 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at ksl.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
This is fascinating. More than 100 tech companies are now joining in an open letter warning about the potential dangers of AI. So what's so interesting about this is that many of these companies are the same ones developing AI.
Yeah, in the letter, they warn that AI-powered cyber attacks are on the verge of becoming more widespread and far more sophisticated, and they urge governments to do more to protect the most vulnerable, like hospitals and utilities.
But here's my big question. Why don't they just work together to create boundaries and safeguards? So why do they need the government to do it?
Well, you know, and another thing that bothers me about this is that they're always blaming China and saying, well, China is always on.
Right?
Why do we do this as nations? You know, go after each other and cyber attack each other, and you know, what's the end game? What do we gain by that? I just don't get it.
That's a good question, because is it just a different way to? I mean, they call it cyber warfare, right? But we're trying to cripple maybe companies. Look, yesterday I thought it was really interesting to see that the DOJ had announced that there had been cyber attacks that went back as far as 2018 is when they started infiltrating even like some of the major organizations in our country's government, including the CIA. And so now to see that you have tech companies that are saying, we've got some concerns here. I mean, I think people should really take notice of that.
I also think that it's helpful that they get together, that this is a joint effort. We had that recent attack within where one AI company sort of poached the other to get information.
Well, that's one of the things that I think that they're concerned about, right? Is this idea that these AI bots broke out of their safeguards and started colluding.
I know, like it's like
it's like a dystopian movie, right? But they did, and the bots wanted to keep it secret. Like it's really hard to not make them humanoid, right? To not say, well, they were plotting, because they're not human; they're machines. But they sure act human sometimes.
And they're getting more and more and more sophisticated, and they're making themselves more sophisticated. Seemingly, they're able to
this agentic.
It's creepy. I like AI. I like what it's done, and I tell you what, I use it more than I ever thought I would, because you can just get so much information so quickly, and you can find out. I mean, it's incredible. It's an incredible tool, and I'm glad that it's here. I am concerned, of course, that it's getting a little bit out of hand, and that we're having these competitions between nations.
Yeah, well, we know the infrastructure. We know that even in Utah, we were vulnerable to having some of our water infrastructure be attacked, right? So we had that information come out relatively recently. You know, there was something really interesting that happened this week at BYU. So this is the week in between Education Week and the beginning of class, and so they do a bunch of faculty meetings. Well, one of the apostles from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Elder Gong, Garrett W. Gong, he's really been in the AI space, and he's been talking a lot about it. And I was surprised that when he was addressing BYU faculty and staff, he said what you said, AI is here to stay, and he expects BYU to start using it. He wants them to use it.
Oh, yeah, you have to. I mean, there's no way around it. If you don't, you're going to get way behind. There are something like 116 companies involved in this.
It's a lot.
And they're calling on the government really to say, hey, we need some safeguards in place. We need some cyber defense, and we need things available. And so they say, to protect infrastructure like hospitals. Of course, if you say something like that, people are going to say, oh yeah, of course, we should jump on that and do what we can to help out.
So I think it's interesting. Why are they asking the government to do this and not just do it themselves? Is it? I mean, because they could self-regulate, and maybe it is that they're like, okay, well, some of us can, but some of us won't.
I was going to say regulate is the reason, because if they are all told to regulate,
then they might follow the same guidelines.
Right, yeah. But if it's competition and it's, let the better company win, maybe there's some less incentive for everybody to get on board and work together on this. But I think if the government comes in and puts some guardrails in place, and I think that's what they're asking for, is to make sure that something like that occurs so that we can put a handle on this.
So, that we had, certainly we had Utah trying to do that, and the federal government is who stopped that because they didn't want states to create the safeguards. So I wonder if we might see some action now that you've got the companies themselves saying, hey, we need this.
Yeah, because you would almost expect the opposite, that the companies would say hands off, but they're not. They're recognizing that this is a problem. I think it's interesting, and I'm getting more and more on board with the AI thing, and I think a lot of the country is as well. Because I don't, maybe I'm naive and I don't appreciate the cyber hacking and all that kind of stuff, and that it's getting so big. But I'll tell you, just having the information available at your fingertips is so powerful. Mm-hmm. It's so helpful, and we have these AI companies that are sort of competing with each other, which is great too. Competition is good. And even competition between nations is probably good. We've done so much because we're trying to stay ahead of China, and vice versa, that it's probably been good, unless you consider hacking into each other and trying to knock the other down, which is not good.
Well, I think we are doing that, but what's interesting too, right, is like how does this cyber warfare play out? Are people hacking into banks and taking money? I think that has happened. Are we stealing state secrets? If you hack into the CIA, I would guess you probably are, right? And then you have election interference. So we know that actually has happened, but it's again, it's an interesting discussion here where you've got these top companies saying, "Hey, we've got these guardrails. We want you to put them in place."
And it's the heavyweights. It's the big names. It's not like somebody's left out. OpenAI, Anthropic, Microsoft. I mean, they've got everybody that is anybody in the AI world is on board with this. And you would think that Congress would probably have some bipartisan support for this as well.
So they had one of the things that they said is there is a limited window to strengthen cyber defenses, and that's one of the things too. Is you think the bad guys are, the hackers are ahead, I think, a lot of times of some of these companies. I don't know. You can have AI that hacks AI now, right? But you had the platform Hugging Face. That was the one where they had the bots break out of their guardrails. They signed on too.
When you look at what happened this week with Meta, you realize that we didn't get on top of the internet, some of these providers as well as we should have, and I think that we're trying to avoid that so that we don't have an $18 billion lawsuit 10 years from now, and because we didn't put guardrails on our social media the way we should have at the outset. And I think that we're looking back on that saying, okay, we have a chance now. Artificial intelligence is still in its infancy, although it's coming out. Let's try to put some things in place right now to make sure that whatever happens, it at least has some level of control.
Yeah, I agree with that. And the group's calling for collective action, and they're urging organization to use this shrinking window, they say, to secure critical infrastructure. And they want to make it harder and more expensive for hackers using AI tools to break in. So it's a conversation where, we have a texter that already said, well, that's how Terminator started, right?
Right.
You have bots that start breaking out of their bounds.
Hey, I want our listeners to know that if you're watching us, it's bow tie day.
It is.
I don't wear bow ties as a rule.
It looks so good,
I feel
though.
kind of dweebish. But anyway, I am wearing a bow tie for the first
Thank
time
you for
in
doing that.
many years.
It's bow tie day.
You told me the other day it was Hawaiian shirt day. Today's bow tie day, so we're going to write it out on bow tie day, which
All
is
right.
a perfect way to talk about artificial intelligence.
So you've got to do it.
Oh, yes. Text after text, call after call, letter after letter. Your computer's down.
Yeah.
Utah homeowners are facing a barrage of requests and offers to buy their houses, even if they aren't on the market. This is weird. That's
a weird story, yeah.
Can you do anything to silence it? That's coming up next on Inside Sources.
Prepare now for a great lawn next year. Start with Rich Lawn Turf Food, an organic-based fertilizer that feeds your soil and keeps your grass greener longer. Looking for professional-grade results? Organic 100 delivers the nutrients your lawn needs to thrive. And for the finishing touches, Overseed with Easy Green Grass Seed, a premium blend that is fast germinating and low maintenance. Put in the work, trust Rich Lawn, and enjoy a yard you'll be proud of. Available at Home Depot and independent garden centers.
What if I told you that 4 weeks from now, that is the end of September, everything could feel different in your life, including your energy, your weight, and the way your clothes fit. That's what the Soda Dynamic Diet is built to do. And right now, Soda has a special end of the summer offer. It goes through the end of August. You've got a few days to get involved. Call 866-800-SODA and mention KSL News Radio, and they'll hook you up. They have over 10,000 Google reviews, positive Google reviews. They teach you how to let go of the weight and keep it off for a lifetime without shots, pills, or a lifetime of dependency, just based on food, expert guidance, and habits that last. Soda believes that weight loss should be temporary, but the results should not be. So instead of putting you on shots and pills, they give you a commitment, or they teach you a commitment on how to eat for your body and keep the weight off. They have trained nutritionists, degreed nutritionists, and one helped me. She was great. She contacted me every week, had me fill out a food plan. And by the way, the food is something you can buy at the store. You don't have to buy it through them at all. Taught me to get the weight off one-on-one. They promised me 2 to 3 pounds a week. I lost over 4 pounds a week for 7 weeks. I lost almost 30 pounds. It was great for me. It'll be good for you too. Remember, Soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
Bad driving habits are hard to break, but good driving habits are easy to form, especially when they can lead to a discount on your auto insurance. With Farm Bureau Financial Services, the safer you drive, the more you save. Drivers like you are saving an average of $351 per vehicle. So buckle up, learn more, and find an agent at fbfs.com/save. Individual savings results may vary. Farm Bureau Property and Casualty Insurance Company, Western Agricultural Insurance Company.
Are you a local business tired of juggling deliveries, managing drivers, or sending valuable employees across town? There's a better way. Pigeon Ship. For more than 10 years, Pigeon Ship has provided fast, reliable, same-day and next-day delivery services for businesses throughout Utah. Whether you need a few deliveries a day or hundreds, Pigeon Ship has the network, technology, and experience to get it done on time. Auto parts, plumbing supplies, electrical components, pharmacy deliveries, and more. Utah's most successful businesses trust Pigeon Ship to keep their operations moving. Stop the stress of hiring drivers. Stop pulling employees away from their real jobs. And stop worrying about whether your deliveries will arrive on time. Join the thousands of businesses that rely on Pigeon Ship every day for dependable local delivery solutions. Visit pigeonship.com today to schedule a call and see how quickly Pigeon Ship can streamline your delivery operations. Pigeon Ship. Avoid the trip. Pigeon Ship. That's pigeonship.com. Pigeonship.com.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence.
every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to the end of summer sale at AutoZone. We're celebrating the end of long days and short nights with big deals for a short time. Like on Wash and Wax, you can get 3 Meguiar's products for just $20. Need new brakes? Duralast brake pads are free with the purchase of Duralast rotors. We've also got oil deals and more. We're ending the summer right with the end of summer sale at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
This is Colin Keary from the New Millennium Group. Have you ever had a question for your financial advisor only to find out that the next available appointment is months away? At New Millennium Group, we believe that financial advice should never be limited to once-a-year review meetings. Life happens every single day. Markets change, retirement questions come up, family situations evolve, and when they do, you deserve answers. That's why we pride ourselves at the New Millennium Group on being accessible when our clients need us most. Whether you're wondering about your investments or a major life decision, our team is here to help provide guidance. We're not interested in being the firm you hear from once a year. We want to be your trusted resource throughout your entire retirement journey. If you're looking for a financial team that values relationships, communication, and responsiveness, we'd love to meet you. Give us a call today at 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370, or visit us at utahsfinancialplanner.com.
And expanded Inside Sources.
Here's a problem that hits close to home. Persistent offers to buy Utahns homes, including mine, even though they aren't on the market. And it's not an isolated thing either. It's happening time and time again.
It's so interesting to me. So I've gotten a few random texts over the years, but nothing like what many are experiencing. And Greg, you've gotten some of these. And so is our producer, Andy. We're going to ask him about that in just a few minutes.
Yeah, I get them. I would say I get one at least every month.
Wow.
And these buyers are going out of their way to text, call, email, send regular mail to homeowners, often offering to buy the home for quick or even cash. And you know, it's like it's weird because they're reaching out. Like, I don't have my house for sale, but they say, would you be interested in selling your house in Eden or your house in Torrey? Like, no.
You can't afford it.
Yeah, right. That's what I used to say.
So just how big is this problem, and are there kinds of offers? Are these all scams? I guess I thought they always were a scam. So is there anything people can do to silence the barrage of offers? KSL investigator Matt Gebhardt actually took a closer look.
Somebody is calling me at least once a day, dude, to try to buy my house.
Kelly Stone never wants to leave her West Haven home. Like, ever.
I plan to die in this house, and then I'm going to haunt it after I die.
Yet for several months now, she's been getting calls, text messages, cash offers from would-be buyers.
And then it wasn't just me and my husband. They were also contacting our adult children.
It's puzzling. The home is not for sale. It's never been for sale. And she says she's not delinquent on any payments. How do you feel?
How do I feel? Kind of irritated. And it's honestly, it's an uncomfortable feeling when you keep getting these calls on a daily basis.
Did she do something to all of a sudden make them start calling her?
I would say probably not.
So I took Kelly's puzzle to Lee Villette, the director of Utah's Division of Real Estate. She says that callers can combine public county property records with information they buy from data brokers, phone numbers, emails, even family connections.
Yes, I think they're casting a very wide net, hoping that they are able to capture at least some folks who might be interested.
Is it a scam? Not necessarily. Wholesaling, investing, and offering cash for homes can all be legal in Utah, but Valet says homeowners should be cautious, especially if somebody will not say who they are or whether or not they are licensed.
A legitimate business is not going to be afraid to identify themselves to you.
Is there any way to make it stop?
So, unfortunately, blocking the number doesn't necessarily make it stop because some of these folks are using a wide variety of different telephone numbers.
What about the federal do not call list? Well, there's a wrinkle. It specifically bans companies from calling to try to sell you something, but these callers are not selling. They're trying to buy something from you, which means those federal protections may not apply. You have not one but two no soliciting signs. As for Kelly, she's made it crystal clear on her front door that she does not want to be bothered. Now, if only the callers would get the message.
Honestly, the biggest thing that I would hope is that it would stop.
Investigating this one, I also had a conversation with a lawyer for the Utah Division of Consumer Protection. He told me that if businesses are calling you after you've asked them to stop, they would like to know about it. The callers may be violating state consumer protection laws.
It is bothersome. And, although I have this joke with my wife, when somebody asks me if my car's for sale or my house for sale, my answer is always, everything I own is for sale. As long as you meet whatever. If you want to meet the price, our house is not for sale, but if somebody offered me enough, I'd sell it tomorrow.
Sure.
Everything I own is for sale.
Well,
but
I
it
just
is
thought they
annoying.
were all scams. Yeah. We have Andy Kepp, our executive producer, in with us. And Andy, you have been getting these, and your sisters, right, have also been approached, which is so weird to me.
Yes. And Greg, I've had that same thought before. You know, okay, they want to buy my house. Great. Let me give you an offer double the price of my house. And see what you say.
Right.
Go for it.
Is for sale, right?
No, I saw Matt working on this story and actually pinged him. And I said, I have dealt with the same problem. And it's to the point now where I have seriously questioned using some very choice language in these responses back to them because they won't leave me alone.
Right.
Wow.
But I have gotten, so like you mentioned, my sisters.
Yeah.
My sisters have never lived in the house that I own right now. They've never lived with it. They lived there. They've never had their names associated with it. They got text messages from people
On your house?
On my house.
That's creepy to me.
We got text
even know how
messages.
that would
All three of
occur.
us got a text message from somebody who was trying to buy my house within the course of a couple of minutes.
Wow.
And it had my address in it and everything.
Wow.
And they said, we want to buy your house. And I was like, what? And so they all sent me a text message back, and I was like, well, this is crazy.
Wow.
My sisters did, at least. I just usually report them as spam to my T-Mobile provider and delete it. But this one, I was like, you're going to get some interesting language out of me if you don't stop. But the one that's really concerned me the most, that I feel the most violated by, I guess, are the postcards I will get in the mail with a picture of my house on it, saying, we want to buy your house at this address. And they'll have a little disclaimer at the bottom of the postcard that says, we didn't actually take a picture of your house. We just pulled this from Google Earth.
Still.
But that's still, I don't like
they're
that.
stalking you.
That's what it feels like. And yes, I know anyone can see my house from the street. I know that it's public or whatever. But there's just something that really irks me about getting a picture of my house in the mail, because that just feels like stalker serial killer vibes.
If it's a scam, or even if it's legit, I wonder what the end game is. I mean, do they just think people are going to go, oh, I'm broke, yeah, I'll sell it? I don't get it.
Some of the ones that I've gotten have offered to pay cash for my home.
Right.
And I've never engaged with them, but I can almost guarantee they're going to offer me an
Lowball.
incredibly lowball
maybe
offer
that's it, right.
and hope that I'm in such a financial distress kind of situation that I'll be like, I'll take this, even though my house is worth so much more than this, because they can get it for really cheap. Then they can either turn it for quite a profit, or they can rent it out.
Yeah.
I'm not sure
But I
what
wonder
the goal
if
is.
you said, sure. I mean, did they send you a uniform real estate contract? Can you sell a house based on a text? Yeah, I'll offer you. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I would be curious if any of our texters have ever gotten these and responded to them, because I refuse to engage unless it's very upset. So I don't know, but I'm curious if somebody has started this process before, where did it go? But I just don't want them to know that I even got the message, because I don't want to engage at all.
Now that we're talking about it, I have gotten a couple of things in the mail. It's rare, and I've never gotten a postcard with a picture of my home on it. But there's been a little thing, hey, we're selling homes in your neighborhood. Are you interested in selling? Right? Yeah, no. Right? So but that's interesting. And very few text messages, and certainly nobody going after my family saying, hey, do your parents want to sell their home?
Right. Yeah, that's weird.
That is so weird.
It's super weird and super uncomfortable. And one of my sisters, she has my old cell phone number from 13 years ago. So I'm like, okay, I guess it still floats around. The other one lives in Virginia, has never had my number, has never had a permanent residence in Utah.
Wow.
Why is she getting annoyed by these people?
That feels
It's
sucky.
harassment, is what it feels like.
Yeah.
Well, I was surprised to hear that it's not always a scam.
Right.
Because I just thought flat out was a scam.
Yeah.
I owned a bunch of lots in Juab County, a neighborhood that was going to be developed, and then it didn't. And so I owned a bunch of just vacant lots. I think there were 7 or 8. They were not of any value, but I got this call, this text or whatever it was, we want to buy your land in Juab County, your lots. I'm like, sign me up. You know what I mean? Like, they never did. Like, I think you could call their bluff on it.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it's for sale. Make me an offer. And then it was like, whoa. I guess I scared them off. So I wonder why they contacted me in the first place. It made no sense.
See, and something like that then does scream scam to me.
Right.
'Cause I'm like, hey, you're not actually serious.
Right.
But I mean, I really don't think they're all scams.
I mean, we don't have very much time, but what about those signs that you see, we buy houses, and it looks like it's hand lettered? I thought those were scams too.
Oh yeah.
Those ones I am convinced are scams.
Yeah.
Because they're handwritten on some old political sign,
off
hoping
highway
like,
exit or something. Like
no.
we pay cash for your old houses.
Your house at blank address.
Right,
At least
that's
the ones
true.
I get, they say your house in Weber County. I'm like, okay, like they.
Well, there's
like,
public records.
I always respond like, do your homework. You know?
Well, then they did their homework, and Andy's like, yeah, don't do that much
No,
homework.
no, please stop.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, maybe I'll have to take a page out of Greg's book and see. Be like,
Okay.
yeah.
What's
pay me
give me
this
the
much?
offer. Yeah.
I always say you can't afford it, and they're like, well, how much do you want? And then I tell them, and then you never hear from them.
Yeah.
That's how you get rid of them, Andy.
7 figures.
Yeah,
7
just
figures.
tell them a number
Minimum.
that you
Yeah.
sell.
Minimum.
Remember, everything is for sale. When you think about it.
Thanks, Andy.
Thanks.
Hey, well, after the break, this is something cool for me. Some new developments with the Utah Supreme Court. We're expecting to learn who the governor will nominate to fill 2 vacancies with the court. These are 2 that are being created because one judge retired and another judge quit, and so 2 justices will be nominated in the next few minutes, I think. More on that and my takes on who the governor picks when I find out who they are coming up.
9:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. Our top story at KSL, Utahns around the state are trying to figure out what's next following the Department of Workforce Services announcement, changing the income limit for those who utilize their child care subsidies. The Utah Community Coalition for Children held a meeting last night to discuss the changes. Christina Robles owns 5 daycares. She says the true cost of care per child is $1,400 a month.
90% of the students that I serve or the families that I serve are on subsidized care in one form or the other. And the market rate in Kearns, Magna, and Taylorsville would never be able to allow me to charge $1,400.
The coalition is gathering testimonies and planning to send them off to the Office and Child Care Advisory Committee to try and stop the change. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. It's been 6 months since the war in Iran began, and there is still no agreement on Iran's nuclear program. More from ABC News Chief Global Affairs Correspondent Martha Raddatz, who says 18 U.S. service members have been killed since the war started.
More than 750 Americans have been wounded, including Sergeant First Class Corey Hicks, who survived a deadly drone attack in Kuwait. He spoke with ABC affiliate KSTP.
And I remember turning my head to the left and I seen the nose of that drone pop through.
The Hicks family says he is now struggling with short-term memory loss and PTSD, and that getting proper medical care has taken months. Hicks, they said, was concerned about the lack of medical supplies in Kuwait even before the attack.
The U.S. claims have crippled their ability to continue a nuclear program, but the Iranians have remained defiant, attacking ships in the Strait of Hormuz. Your money at this moment. The Dow right now is up 204 points. We're at 53,773. Get ready for some rain this weekend. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 9:32. A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Looking to transform your kitchen or bathroom? Discover the difference at AMC Building Materials. New arrivals are here. Explore the latest shaker-style cabinets, sleek European-style flat panel cabinets, and beautiful new quartz countertops in today's most popular colors. With a 25,000 square foot showroom and a warehouse in Salt Lake City, AMC keeps a wide selection of the most popular cabinets and countertops in stock. So many in-stock cabinet styles are available for same-day purchase and pickup, making it easy to start your project right away. Enjoy factory direct pricing, free design, free in-home measurements, and expert installation. Most remodeling projects are completed in as little as 10 days. Visit the AMC Building Materials Showroom at 3678 South 700 West or schedule your free estimate today at amckitchensaltlakecity.com. AMC Building Materials. Come see the difference today.
If you're a news and politics junkie like Greg and I, you have to make sure you're subscribed to the Utah Policy Newsletter. Every weekday morning, I put together a newsletter where you can get a comprehensive list of the top local and national stories, the stuff that really makes an impact in your daily life, and a little bit of fun to start off your day. Just go to utahpolicy.com and hit that subscribe button.
Sleep Number's new collections are designed to adapt to the changing nature of your life and your sleep needs. Whether it's the personalized comfort of the Comfort Mode mattress, the targeted pressure relief of the Comfort Next mattress, or the Climate Collection that actively cools or warms to help you fall asleep and stay asleep.
And now, all beds are on sale during our biggest sale of the year. Save 25% on the new Comfort Next Luxe for a limited time, only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to the end of summer sale at AutoZone. We're celebrating the end of long days and short nights with big deals for a short time. Like on Wash and Wax, you can get 3 Meguiar's products for just $20. Need new brakes? Duralast brake pads are free with the purchase of Duralast rotors. We've also got oil deals and more. We're ending the summer right with the end of summer sale at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Want to rep the bright side? We're giving you a chance to win a limited edition KSL Brightside t-shirt. To enter, visit ksl.com/win. We'll have you subscribe to KSL Brightside on YouTube and leave a comment on your favorite video. You could be one of the lucky winners to sport this exclusive Brightside gear. Tune in for a smart take on life, current events, and everything important to you and your family with a dose of fun. Join Ethan Millard and Alex Curie every weekday from 1 till 3 p.m. on KSL News Radio and streaming live on YouTube from noon till 1 p.m.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by UCCU. Big on business, including merchant services. Love where you bank. And here's Cormac Bone.
Got some very hefty slowdowns on southbound I-15 from Bangerter Highway coming up toward 146 South. There may be a crash there. And we do have a crash eastbound I-80 right before Foothill Drive in Parleys Canyon. They are in the right shoulder and causing some pretty heavy slowdowns. They're starting to build toward 1300 East. Got an old car? Donate it at carsforkids.org. It's easy, and they'll pick it up as soon as tomorrow. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS today. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
Mostly cloudy today with a chance for some rain. A high of 92 tomorrow. Rain is likely and much cooler. 81 for a high tomorrow. Right now it's mostly cloudy and 75 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at ksl.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
Governor Spencer Cox is getting ready to announce his picks to fill 2 more vacancies on the Utah Supreme Court.
So these are to fill 2 vacancies by judges who have either resigned or have left the bench. Justice Diana Hagan resigned earlier this year. Chief Justice Matt Durant will leave Monday. His service ends August 31st. So the Supreme Court was expanded, as you recall, Holly, by our legislature in the last session from 5 to 7. The 2 new positions were selected by our governor a couple months ago.
Yeah. And they've been confirmed by the Senate.
And they've been confirmed by the Senate. But these are 2 vacancies, so our governor will have appointed a lot of members.
4 in a couple of months, right? Yeah.
And so, Justice Diana Hagan resigned, Matt Durant's leaving, so there's 2 more. And I was looking at the nominees.
There's quite a few.
Yeah, they usually give 6 names for every one or maybe whatever it is. But there are 12 names, and I won't go through them all. But just from my sort of brief, and I think I know all of them just from practicing law, there are 3 who are currently on the Utah Court of Appeals, which I always think, well, that means that there'll be another vacancy. Of course, the governor will have to appoint someone else. But 3 are on the Court of Appeals. 2 of those are sort of been fast-tracked. They were trial court judges, Court of Appeals, now on the short list for the Supreme Court. There are a couple of judges, at least 3, who are currently on the district court. In other words, the trial court.
So that create more vacancies there,
which
too?
will create vacancies there. One's in the 3rd District here in Salt Lake County. He's from Summit County. Another one's from the 5th District Court down in, I think that would be St. George area, the Iron County, Washington County. And one's from the 8th District Court out in the Uinta Basin. Very good judges, all of them. I mean, I look at this list. It's an all-star team. I don't know who the governor has selected. I'm sure they already know.
I know you tried to find out, but we're not
tried.
enough of insiders for them to give us a heads up.
I was trying to get some inside information, but they were not helping me out this morning. But I would just say this: there's no bad pick from among the 12 here. That they're people with tremendous experience, and there were a couple that I didn't know very well, so I looked them up. And even the 2 that the governor just appointed, a couple of months ago, have worked out well. Although I haven't seen much about them, but I have heard nothing but good things about the current status of the Utah Supreme Court. And I think I was a little concerned, and I thought, why mess up a good thing? The Supreme Court's great; it has 5 justices, no problems. But they expanded it to 7. And as we looked at the surrounding states, 7 is about right for a state our size. And the fact that we'd been at 5 for decades, well, very, very, very long time.
That certainly was the argument when the legislature changed it.
Yeah. I often think, because I don't practice at the Utah Supreme Court except maybe once or twice a year, I'm at the district court every day. Wow. And so you see where the rubber hits the road, the trial court. And I see, especially in the 4th District, if you go down to Utah County and you watch those judges down there, their calendars can sometimes, Holly, have 100 cases. And
per day?
Yeah, right, yeah.
Wow.
Per 100 in the morning, 100 in the afternoon. I mean, it's awful. And so
awful.
That gives you some idea how much attention they get. And that's why one of the judges down there in Utah County said, I'm not doing this anymore. It's not
the
fair.
load was impossible, right?
Right. So when the legislature expanded the judiciary, they did put a couple new trial court judges. They also expanded the Supreme Court. I don't remember. I think they maybe have expanded the Court of Appeals too. I thought at the time they were doing that we really needed more trial court judges. They decided we needed more appellate court judges also. It's going to work out.
Right.
I'm really okay with that. I just think the trial courts need a lot more help than the appellate courts do.
So one of the things while we're waiting for this announcement, one of the things that I remember from the last 2 who were appointed, neither one were acting judges, right? And I know there were some people with some heartburn about that.
Right.
Can you talk to us about whether you need to have previous judicial experience or not?
Sure. And I was not among the group that thought they had to have judicial experience.
Right.
I don't think that at all. I think you can be a senator without having been in Congress.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think that there are things you can do that. But I would also say this.
Okay.
If you look at the Supreme...
I actually have names for you. So.
Oh, you
dun,
do?
Dun, dun. Yeah, we do. So Matthew Bell and Michael Menson. Those are the 2 that have been appointed by the governor to the Utah Supreme Court.
Wow. Okay. 2 that I don't know particularly well. I did look up Bell. He's the one from the 5th District down in Washington County. He's been a sitting judge down there for some time. Menson is a partner at a law firm here in town, a prestigious law firm, and I don't know him particularly well. I don't know these 2 very well at all. I've appeared before Bell down in the 5th District, and he will be a great selection. I'm sure they both will. I just don't know Menson as well. So I think the governor has made some very good selections here. Now, there's certainly a vetting process before they even get to here.
Sure.
There's the Judicial Nominating Commission.
Yeah.
So when there's an opening, you'll have people apply. I'm a little surprised we didn't select a woman, but that's neither here nor there because the last 2 were men also. You apply, you go through the Judicial Nominating Commission, then the commission gives the governor so many names, in this case 12 for 2 positions.
Sure.
So the governor doesn't pick from the 10,000 lawyers in Utah. The governor picks from
a handful,
the 12 that made the final cut.
Right.
I'm on a Judicial Nominating Commission, so I've been on that group that makes the selection in the 2nd District, Weber, Morgan, Davis counties. Anyway, and then from the 12, he picks his 2, and even then...
And they have to go through
the
Senate
Senate confirmation process. I can't imagine either of these two having any issues at all.
But they'll appear before the Senate committee, and then they'll have that process, that vetting process, and then assuming that they get a positive recommendation from the committee, it'll go to the full Senate. So they're not done yet.
Okay.
But we do have the two names. And also, I'll note, you mentioned not having a woman. You're correct, not for the Supreme Court. But the governor also announced a vacancy to fill a vacancy on the 3rd Judicial District Court, Liz Butler. So that is the retirement. The vacancy was created by the retirement of Judge Ruby Mills.
Oh, she was great.
Yeah. So
but anyway,
she's retiring. So Liz Butler has been nominated for that one. But yeah, I do think it's interesting that we've got, you have one, I guess, that is currently an attorney, not a judge, and the other one who has experience as a judge from 2017, it looks like, so 10 years.
Right, yeah. No, he's been around for quite a while. I'm going to look them up a little bit here. Menson, I don't know as well. Bell, like you said, he's been a judge for a while. And then a good choice for the 3rd District, which is Salt Lake, Summit, and Tooele counties. Of course, the judges float around there, but that's the biggest district, obviously, by far, probably bigger than all the other districts combined. I mean, the governor... If I don't know how hard it must be or how much time they must spend interviewing judicial nominees, but
it's a long time.
There's a lot of people, and I know that he has a staff that sort of vets them a little bit too. But when it comes to the Supreme Court, my guess is that he talked to everybody, all 12, and it really got a feel for them.
Yeah,
probably has a handle on who they are and what they're about. And to get to that level, you have to be. I mean, I've never applied.
Top notch.
But yeah, you have to be at the top of your game, and they'll go through your background. Like, I mean, such things as, have you defaulted on a loan? Do you have a shoplift case when you were 18? Yeah. I mean, not that those would hold you back necessarily, but they're going to find those things out. Yeah. They're going to look at your history, your credit history, that type of thing, and look at that.
Well, coming up next on Inside Sources, we're going to talk about mail-in voting because the saga continues. Another federal judge has blocked the president's executive order. So we'll have more on that after the break.
Murphy's Law says that if your air conditioner is going to break down this summer, it's going to be when you least expect it and at the worst possible time. And for a lot of homeowners, the fear isn't just the breakdown. It's worrying about what happens next. Is this going to cost a fortune? Am I going to be pressured into replacing it? Can somebody just help me figure out what's wrong? At Any Hour Services, that's exactly what we're here for. Maybe your system just needs maintenance to help prevent breakdowns before they happen. Maybe a part failed, and a simple repair gets you back up and running quickly. Or maybe your system's getting older, repairs are adding up, and you think replacing it makes more sense. Whatever the situation, we'll walk you through your options, answer your questions, and make sure you have the information you need to make the decision that's right for your home and your budget. Maintenance, repair, or replacement, you choose what's right for you. That's how Any Hour Services works. Options, not pressure. Call Any Hour Services next time you need help with your air conditioner. Google Any Hour Services or schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
I've told this story before, but in 2026, I had a New Year's resolution to lose weight. And it was going great for about a week and a half in January, and then it all fell apart. And so I contacted Soda Diet Nutrition just because some of the folks here at KSL told me it works. I never thought a diet would work. I've never been on a diet. I never thought I would have to go on a diet because I've always been able to lose weight on my own. And for some reason, maybe it was just turning 60 plus, it just didn't work. So I contacted Soda. They hooked me up with a plan that I liked because it was based on food and not medication or anything like that, based on a conversation that I had every week with a degree nutritionist who talked to me about what I needed to do, what I could do. I filled out a diet plan every day, and it was great. And she even said, look, you don't have to buy the food through us. You can just buy it at your grocery store. It worked for me. And my wife got on board too. She said, look, if this is what you want to do and this is how you want to lose weight, I will help you. It worked for me, and I lost almost exactly 30 pounds in 7 weeks. Believe it or not, back in April, and I've kept it off, and here we are almost to September. Soda worked for me. It'll work for you. SOTA, 866-800-SOTA. Mention KSL News Radio. Say it with me. Soda is state of the art.
What keeps you up at night? Do you wonder if what you've saved will be enough? If your money will go as far as you plan? Or whether your retirement will look the way you imagine? What worries you? Everyone's concern is different, but ignoring it won't make it disappear. This is Ron Paul. You may not be able to predict what comes next, but you can take steps now to diversify your savings with precious metals before uncertainty becomes urgency. My friends at Birch Gold Group will send you a free info kit explaining how gold can help diversify your IRA or 401k. Just text the word SECURE to the number 989898. There's no cost and no obligation. Just free information to help you consider your option. Take the first step with Birch Gold. Text the word SECURE to the number 989898.
Everything to my back is dark.
High in the alpine wilderness.
Really ugly clouds coming over from the north.
A place
The ridgeline is imposing, the escarpments, the drops.
where survival
It's dark now. I have nothing.
is never certain.
This is not good.
My name's Dave Cawley, and I'm the host of a podcast called Uinta Triangle. It's about the disappearance of an Australian hiker named Eric.
Our conclusion, and that of the sheriff, is that the mountains have decided to keep him.
Come retrace Eric's footprints with me.
You have done this walk too, but this is your backyard.
Did he really make a wrong turn, or did he decide that he was done?
He is not the first or last person to vanish in this remote region.
It was haunting to see the photos. I mean, really.
Find and follow the podcast series Uinta Triangle. That's Uinta, spelled UINTA, Triangle, wherever you get your podcasts. All episodes out now.
Well,
yeah, keep going.
Another day, another hiccup for President Trump's executive order on mail-in voting.
We're back with inside sources, of course. So overnight, another federal judge blocked the order, the executive order, which, you know, the Supreme Court said it could go ahead, but there was an injunction, and then they lifted that, and now there's another judge who's blocked the order. So what the heck? Let's get a quick update from ABC's Sophie Flay.
A judge has blocked the Trump administration's new rule that would restrict voting by mail. The temporary order blocks the Postal Service from increasing its oversight of mail-in voting. The judge saying it would be practically impossible for states to comply with the rule for the upcoming midterm elections. Experts say the battle over the new rule will likely end up at the Supreme Court.
Again, which is where it was a couple days ago. So if you recall, this started several months ago when Trump issued an executive order that would that he called upon the Postal Service to enact policies that would sort of create some level of integrity with respect to mail-in voting and require proof of citizenship. Ask them to.
There's a lot more to that.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Ask them to do their rulemaking authority. Some Democratic states filed a lawsuit saying that's way beyond your authority. A court agreed with them. The Court of Appeals agreed with them. The Supreme Court said, you filed your lawsuit before they'd even issued their ruling. You can challenge a ruling, but you can't challenge a request to issue a ruling.
Right.
So they said you filed it too soon. And some of the justices from the Supreme Court, the dissenting justices said, look, the executive order is so clearly wrong. Why do you have to wait for them to jump through the hoops? But I also understand that they did say, the majority of the Supreme Court, and it wasn't even after argument or briefing or anything. It was just, hey, you can't do this.
Because it wasn't ripe. Correct?
Exactly. Yep. So they threw it out. But in the meantime, the Postal Service did enact the rule.
Yeah, that was a week ago.
It became ripe. So they refiled their lawsuit. A judge said, okay, you did it right this time, and I'm going to block the order.
Yeah.
Now they're saying, well, it's going to be appealed again.
Sure.
I think the problem, and you articulated it really well, is we're just over 2 months away from voting, and some states are sending out their mail-in ballots
next
pretty soon.
week.
Yeah, so
like literally the first state starts sending them out the end of next week. So I think even if it's appealed to the Supreme Court, I think the timeliness of the issue makes it moot for this go round. I mean, you're the attorney, but that's what I see.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way. But I also think the Supreme Court, I don't think is going to overturn this one. I know they did before, but they did so on procedural grounds. That is to say, you filed the lawsuit before you were entitled to. Now the lawsuit's filed, and it was timely.
Right.
And
so now there's something they can actually debate.
Now you said something before we started the show today, which was, it doesn't affect Utah. It doesn't affect Utah.
Right.
Why do you say that?
So already Utah has identification on their envelopes, on their mail-in envelopes, and as I understand it, not part of the lawsuit because they were filed by blue states. So
I see.
Even though
you think we may comply with the
No, we're not. I mean, it's just that we already have that information on the ballots, right? So now the Utah legislature had said we have to have identifying information on the ballots to say that you are who you say you are via either the last four of your social security number or the end of your driver's license number to verify, plus a signature.
So we'll luckily be a state that is probably not affected one way or the other, and we'll probably proceed with what's happening
Not
right
at least
now.
not this election cycle,
right?
But yeah, it's just interesting, and we've had this conversation before, but under what authority does the U.S. Postal Service have to control who gets a ballot? That seems to fly in the face of the Constitution in my mind.
Which says the states.
Yeah, that says the states control elections, right? So,
And
I don't understand.
Subject to oversight by Congress if that actually becomes something necessary, but not by the president or the post office. I think that mail-in voting, and I've said this 100 times, so I'll not harp on it too much. We're spoiled here in Utah because there's an incredibly high level of integrity with our mail-in voting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if you look at what we do in Utah, there's no reason to change it. Our president did vote by mail.
Yeah, just recently.
In the Florida primary
that's right.
the other day because he said, well, I'm not in Florida, so I have to do it by mail.
Except he was there to golf, but it's okay.
Right. So, but I'm just saying, we don't want people voting who are not registered to vote. I don't know that mail-in voting makes that more likely to occur. In fact, it seems like we saw an audit the other day that the number in Utah was 99.8% verified. I mean, it's off the charts. And it wouldn't make any difference in any race that I'm aware of.
I saw the lieutenant governor yesterday on Threads posted that the DOJ had flagged 11,000 voter registration forms. The state had already done their due diligence and tracking everybody down. So of those 11,000, they found actually 27 had a problem.
So,
27 out of 11,000.
Yeah, probably not going to make a difference.
Right.
So the lawsuit was refiled. The trial court has stricken the presidential order. Now, they're saying it'll be appealed to the Supreme Court, but that skips a step. You've got to go through the Court of Appeals first, I think. I don't know. I mean, maybe the Supreme Court will weigh in and say, hey, we're just going to take the bull by the horns, but I don't know that
What if they just said, we'll put it on our docket? Then it's clear you're not going to have any kind of decision before.
Right.
Yeah, you can argue it sometime next year.
But, that was 6-3 in terms of, hey, procedurally you did it wrong. I don't know that they'd get 6 to throw this out. I don't know that the 6 conservatives would say the president had the authority to do that because it's just not there. And if they do, we're really giving executive authority so much reign with our current Supreme Court that we've never done before. And maybe that's the angle they want to go. But it's been really interesting to see our Supreme Court defer so much to the executive branch in ways we've never even thought possible before.
Right.
But then rein it in on such things as replacing the chairman of the Fed.
Right.
And firing administrative positions. So, it goes back and forth a little bit. I don't know that this one they're going to jump in and say the president has the authority to do that.
Right. And again, you have to also look at the timeliness for this election cycle. So I just don't see any way possible that they're going to say this has to be implemented before the election because you have states sending ballots out starting next week.
Right.
Ours won't go out until October. But even then, right, they're preparing ballots before they're mailed. You've got to do all the preparation work.
Yeah,
for
next
who's
week's
on.
September. So we're not that far away. And mail-in voting, I guess I'll say it again, has worked out well. I do it. I take advantage of it. It's been wonderful for me working in Salt Lake and living in Weber, not having to go and stand in line at a polling location. Not that that's the worst thing in the world. I used to love doing it, but I just right now it would be difficult for me working here during the day and then having to drive up there at night.
Yeah, Utah loves mail-in voting. In fact, I think the number I saw was 96%-ish, somewhere in that neighborhood, voted either they did not vote in person. I guess that's the better way to say it. They either mailed their ballots back or they dropped them in a drop box, which is the same kind of thing, right? You can do it anytime that is convenient for you, even if it's 11:59 at night or 3 o'clock in the morning. You can drop them off in those ballot boxes. They have 24-hour camera surveillance also.
It's important to know for our listeners that the Supreme Court did not say that they were ruling on whether or not Trump's executive order was legal or not. They simply said that that the judge had acted too soon, that the plaintiffs in case had filed it too soon. So they didn't weigh in on the legality of it, and they were careful with that, which tells me that maybe they're concerned about the legality of it.
Yeah. Sometimes they do things that are like, not yet, but it's like, hey, don't read too much into it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that's going to be interesting to watch, and I hope that the courts don't block this. I don't know that the Supreme Court's going to have an appetite to jump in and do something at this late stage.
Yeah, it is really late. And you know what's kind of sad to me, I have to say? I'm not hearing our federal elected officials jump in and support the state of Utah and what we've been doing here and vote by mail.
But they should.
They should, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we've been following for the last couple of weeks this trial, and it's become more and more interesting. We're talking about the trial of Lindsay Clancy, the woman accused of killing her 3 children in what's known as the postpartum psychosis defense that she's running. We heard closing arguments yesterday. The case is now at the jury. They're in their second day of deliberations. We're going to talk about what that trial means, and I'm going to share my thoughts, and I'm sure you've got some as well.
I'm sure
when we come right back.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
10 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. Our top story this hour, Spanish Fork Mayor Mike Mendenhall says he thinks the city should give a proposed data center at the mouth of Spanish Fork Canyon a chance. KSL News Radio Spencer Mahan has been following the developments and has the story.
You might remember that just over a week ago, the city council's meeting stretched deep into the night as many people voiced opposition to a possible data center in the city. In a post made to his personal Facebook, Mayor Mike Mendenhall thanked residents for showing up and voicing their opinions on the proposed data center. He said in that post, the proposal in front of Spanish Fork City Council is a, quote, opportunity for the city.
The next city council meeting is September 1st. Our top national story this hour from ABC News, NASA is preparing to launch a new space telescope this weekend.
The Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope has the same size mirror as the Hubble Orbiting Observatory, but with 100 times its field of view.
It's going to really revolutionize astronomy.
NASA's Bear Witherspoon.
What we are scheduled to do and have to do is have a 5-year mission life. But if we launched really well, we're going to double that. Maybe triple that.
If the weather cooperates, the bus-sized telescope will be headed off to a deep space orbit point nearly 1 million miles from the Earth.
ABC's Jim Ryan says the launch is set for Sunday morning. Your money at this moment, the Dow right now up 72 points. That's about 0.1%. We're at 53,641. Coming up cooler today with a few thunderstorms. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 10:02.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Jeff Kaplan here, Xfinity Wi-Fi customer. I don't know how bad inflation's going to be in the months and years ahead, but I do know the inflation rate is 0 with the Xfinity Wi-Fi 5-year price lock guarantee. The most intelligent Wi-Fi that even fixes itself when there's a problem. Wi-Fi that hits every corner of your home, powered by fiber, built for speed. All of the benefits of the Xfinity network with 99.999% reliability and a 5-year price lock guarantee. Same price for 5 years, and this is important, no contracts, no commitments. Plus, you can get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. You get everything you need. It's all included. Data, the best equipment, and the most reliable Wi-Fi. Yours within minutes. The price locked in for 5 years. Go to Xfinity.com or visit a store today. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Select plans only.
Are you a local business tired of juggling deliveries, managing drivers, or sending valuable employees across town? There's a better way. Pigeon Ship. For more than 10 years, Pigeon Ship has provided fast, reliable, same-day and next-day delivery services for businesses throughout Utah. Whether you need a few deliveries a day or hundreds, Pigeon Ship has the network, technology, and experience to get it done on time. Auto parts, plumbing supplies, electrical components, pharmacy deliveries, and more. Utah's most successful businesses trust Pigeon Ship to keep their operations moving. Stop the stress of hiring drivers. Stop pulling employees away from their real jobs. And stop worrying about whether your deliveries will arrive on time. Join the thousands of businesses that rely on Pigeon Ship every day for dependable local delivery solutions. Visit pigeonship.com today to schedule a call and see how quickly Pigeon Ship can streamline your delivery operations. Pigeon Ship. Avoid the trip. Pigeon Ship. That's pigeonship.com. Pigeonship.com.
It's time to get sewing again with special discounts and super savings in August on Bernina machines and accessories at Dave's Bernina in St. George and Provo.
Find out about the new products to be released in the upcoming weeks. Special pre-order pricing on the all-new Bernina 790 Ultra, 580 and 495 Liberty editions, and the Bernina 660 and 620 Surgers.
Come in and test drive their sewing machines.
The Bernina 990, 770 Pro, and 570 are on sale, featuring free accessory bundles worth from $2,900 up to $4,600.
All new Berninas come with a 5-year warranty and free classes.
48 months, 0% interest on specific machine purchases.
And at Dave's Bernina, they service all brands. August means big savings at Dave's Bernina, 691 East St. George Boulevard and 2017 North 550 West in Provo. Dave's Bernina.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. Big on business, including commercial loans. Love where you bank. And here's Cormac Bone.
There is still a crash eastbound to I-80 right before Foothill Drive. They are in the right shoulder, and the delays behind them cleared out pretty quickly. Also clearing out on the delays southbound I-15 going into Utah County, but in Utah County, South 15 is pretty slow as you pass Pleasant Grove Boulevard and come down towards 1600 North. Otherwise, it's just some regular slowdowns to expect, both directions of the 201 freeway in Magna and both directions of Mountain View Corridor at 3500 South. UDOT construction alert. The airport ramp from northbound I-215 to westbound I-80 will reopen Friday. Other ramps at this interchange will close next week. Visit UDOT Traffic for more information. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
We'll have a high of 92 today with a few more isolated thunderstorms. A cold front arrives tomorrow, bringing the high down to 81 with widespread rain tomorrow. Right now it's 79 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at ksl.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
Jury deliberations are continuing this morning in the triple murder case for Lindsay Clancy. She's the Massachusetts woman charged with killing her children.
So a jury of 9 men and 3... Not 9 women and 3 men are currently deciding whether Clancy intentionally murdered her 3 children back in 2023. Defense attorneys say she was suffering from postpartum psychosis.
So let's get more on the jury from ABC's Deborah Roberts.
The judge in this case praised those jurors who have sat through 21 days of intense and often disturbing testimony, saying he's never seen one more focused on the facts. Well, now, of course, we'll see how long it takes them to sort them all out.
And walking into court this morning, Clancy's attorney Kevin Reddington admits that his client is anxious about the jury's looming decision.
Nervous, she's nervous, like I said before. She's very, she's sad, scared. She's
nervous. Yeah, I imagine I imagine she is. And actually, that's probably in contrast to a recent Utah case, but I won't mention.
So so this case. It's funny. This case started and didn't really garner a lot of attention, and it started picking up momentum more and more. And by the time it ended, it was standing room only to get into that courtroom. Yeah. And part of it was Clancy, just the trial had to be stopped at least once because she broke down and just was sobbed. She just was sobbing.
Yeah.
Now the jury has a lot of choices here, which is a little bit unusual. They can find her guilty of murder. They can find her guilty of manslaughter and say, well, she didn't have her full faculties, but she still should have known better. They can find her not guilty and mentally ill.
With the psychosis.
Right, because of the psychosis, which means that, so the first two, of course, and there's a third one, I'll think of it in just a second, which she would probably go to, certainly for a murder charge, she'd go to prison. Manslaughter, I think it's likely she'd serve some time. But even if she's found not guilty, they would continue her hospitalization until a panel of doctors or someone decided that she was safe to be out back in society, because she may still be seen as a threat to herself or others. She did try to kill herself.
I know, but that was at the same time. And so I, with a diagnosis of postpartum psychosis, I doubt that she still has that same diagnosis actively going on. Like, it's something, as you might imagine, that can go away.
Yeah, and we did learn today that the jury sent out a question. And so as an attorney, I always get nervous when the jury has a question. What they wanted to see was some evidence, which is unusual. They wanted to see the knife that she used. Apparently, there was a knife that she had used to try to kill herself, although I think she jumped out of a room or something.
She also cut her own wrists.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
And some pills that were there. They wanted to see those. Typically, a judge won't allow that kind of stuff back in the jury room.
Really?
But they could. I mean, there's no reason not to. If they're evidence and they're admitted as evidence, they may go back. Why they're not, I don't know. Maybe the judge said you don't need to see these. And we're always reluctant to send guns back in the jury room, or drugs. I'm just saying.
Sure.
There are certain things you don't do.
Sure.
They're just things you don't. But if the jury wants to see those, we're always playing Monday morning quarterback. When jurors ask questions and we're in a trial, the prosecution thinks, oh, that's bad, for us, and the defense thinks, oh, that's bad for us, or vice versa. You try to decide what it really means. Those kind of questions don't mean anything to me, except that the jury just wanted to see something. The knife, they wanted to see it. Maybe it was more than just a butter knife, but I'm sure they saw it.
So so that would be my question. Wouldn't they have already seen it as part of it, but maybe it was further away and they want to see it closer, or is that?
Yeah, but typically when something like that's admitted, they will hand it to the jurors and then they'll pass it down among the 12 of them, so that they would have held it.
Yeah.
The pills, I don't know. I would say this, again, good lawyers. They were doing their closings while we were doing the show yesterday, so I wasn't able to listen to it. I could sort of watch the teleprompter, what they were saying.
Yeah.
One thing that bothered me as a defense attorney was the fact that Lindsay Clancy and her lawyer seemingly both had their backs to each other the whole time. I mean,
really,
you would have expected if you had a client who was accused of murder, a mother, you would have been right with her. You would have been, at least I would have. I would have been conversing with her. I would have been talking to her.
Yeah.
I would have had her, nodding in approval to things I was saying. I would have been nodding in approval to things she was saying. But this lawyer, and maybe he's the best lawyer in Massachusetts, I don't know, but he was sort of looking off to the left, and she was looking off to the right. And I never saw the two of them have eye contact. I never saw the two of them speak. And if the lawyer isn't chummy with his client, the jury's going to have a hard time being chummy with the defendant. And
I thought he painted her as a very sympathetic person.
He did with the jury, but he didn't with his body language with her.
Interesting.
No, he did. When he put on his defense, he did a great job. And he put experts on, and he painted her as this
they even
mother.
had her ex-mother-in-law,
Right.
testifying on her behalf.
Right. I'm just saying, I would have.
Yeah.
The jury watches
The body
that
language,
kind of stuff.
yeah.
They watch
That's
how you
interesting.
interact.
Huh.
If you're scared of your client or you're standoffish, and maybe it was her. Maybe she was just so upset. She's in a wheelchair, so maybe their proximity was a little more difficult. Although the counsel table should accommodate chairs easily, no matter what it is. But I don't know. Every time I watch him, I'm like, dude, give your client a hug. Like touch her, like talk to her, like ask her a question. Like maybe it was just me.
Maybe he doesn't want any appearance of impropriety.
Yeah, who knows? You'd still like to eye contact with your client. But anyway, and the prosecution did a pretty good job. I thought they were very rigid and formal, like just like stating their argument in a way that was very without emotion. I don't know. I guess I've been doing this too long, and I watch other people, and I think, well, I could do better. And I probably wouldn't have done any better. I may have done worse from both sides, because I've done murder cases from both sides. I've been a prosecutor, and I've been a defense attorney. But I just noticed that. I thought the judge was great. I mean, he clearly did a good job. And this case, well, you can maybe opine on this. I don't know what will mean in the future for women who suffer from this, because it's brought national attention to something that some of us had never even thought about. Postpartum depression, yes. Postpartum psychosis.
Right. So postpartum depression can happen in about 1 in 7 women, but postpartum psychosis is 1 or 2 in every 1,000 women who have babies. So, and then not everybody who has postpartum psychosis actually harms their children, but it's not unheard of. And we have had a couple of other cases, prominent cases in the United States, where they did, they took that as the defense, right? That the mother was experiencing postpartum psychosis, so she killed her kids.
And I thought that both the prosecution and defense did a lot of work. I don't know how this will play out, with going over what she did do once the child was born, and that she was suffering, and she did see doctors, and she did talk to people, and she did seek help, and they were giving her medication and this and that, and I'm sure those doctors are sort of...
It's interesting that the prosecution is like, well, she actually wasn't suffering that much, and she had... her suicide attempt was only superficial. I mean, those are some of the arguments that they're making, and maybe that's why they want to see the knife.
Interesting, and I know we're out of time, that they put her husband and her mother, I think, on the stand, both of whom said she was a great mother.
I don't know about her mom, but I know her former mother-in-law.
Or mother-in-law,
they
that's
worked
what it was.
together.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they worked together.
They put people on, they really...
All right, well, on that cheery note, if you do need a little positivity to help jumpstart your Friday, we've got it right here. The FDA has approved a drug that could double the life expectancy of those dealing with metastatic pancreatic cancer. We're going to talk with the Huntsman Cancer Institute about their role in this development. It's very exciting. Stay with us.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 25% upfront bonus? And are they promising you up to 9% growth per year, all for your retirement income? If not, then you need to come to Trajan Wealth. Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. And if you plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait, only to find out it's too late. I've seen hardworking folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They aren't. That's up to $25,000 upfront or up to $9,000 per year on $100,000, guaranteed for retirement income. Don't keep working when you're supposed to be retired, and don't let any financial advisor tell you it's too good to be true. Unlock your Trajan family office at TrajanWealth.com or call 1-855-TRAJAN-1. That's 1-855-TRAJAN-1.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. DBA in most states has Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions.
The Movie Show broadcasting live today from NPS in Layton. It's located at 1150 North Main Street, right off the Hillfield Road exit. Go over to Main Street, head north, get in the right lane, and you will literally have to turn into the parking lot, Brooke, because it's like a turn-only lane.
Yeah, it just
and that's
stops
good.
us.
And this is where you want to be, because you're going to get great deals on, everything they have in the store, which is almost anything you can imagine, and lots of things that you can't imagine until you see it.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of the fun, isn't it?
It is. It is.
All right, so these are some of the deals. By the way, I already started. You guys just opened up like 15 minutes ago. I already found me a Captain America shirt for $6.
Which is amazing.
And I'm getting it. $6. I mean, what
Can't
a deal.
beat it.
Because you guys are doing an extra 50% off the lowest marked clothing price right now, which is already 30 to 70% off the original price.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's NFL season, and there's a team that's located one city east of here that a lot of people are fans of.
Mm-hmm.
I am not.
Okay.
But they've got a couple of sweatshirts of that team.
Yes, we
for
do.
$24. Like in the good, like the XL size,
Yes,
that always
yes.
seem to sell out. I'm just saying, it's NFL season in a week, and if that's your favorite team, come to the NPS in Layton. You can get a sweatshirt, a hoodie sweatshirt, and a regular sweatshirt.
Yeah.
$24 each. What a deal.
It's absolutely crazy.
You guys do such good deals. Tell us what some of the movie show specials are for today.
Absolutely. So I've got some lime and sea salt tortilla chips for 99 cents. We have bunches
Now,
of
these are the
oats.
big bags, too, right?
Yes, they are.
And it's my favorite brand of tortilla chips. They've become my favorite brand, actually, after shopping here.
You can get them so often. I love that. We have bunches of oats with almonds, family style, so that large box, 2 for $3. We've stocked up in my household.
Oh, my goodness, yeah.
Yes. And then store favorite right now, it's this Dubai style strawberry truffle bites. They're 2 for $5 right now. And I am just on the Dubai kick because of them. They're
Strawberry,
so good.
see, that's better than pistachio, in my opinion.
100%. And then I've got different flavored sparkling water for two for $1, and then some crinkle French fries for $4.99.
This is the 6-pound bag of French fries for
Yes.
$5. That's an awesome deal. These are the deals just on grocery items. They got deals on retail items, like I mentioned. Come and check them out, 1150 North Main Street in Layton. But you can also get deals like this at the NPS store in Salt Lake, 1600 South Empire Road, and in Utah County at 475 North State in Orem.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-881-8686. That's 800-881-8686. 800-881-8686.
Listening to us on the radio is pretty great, but you can also see us every morning if you want. Just check out the KSL News Radio live stream. We're on YouTube, the KSL News Radio app, and KSL.com every morning during our show if you're watching us right now. Hi, thanks for watching.
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Inside Sources.
Well, it's always nice to finish off the week on a positive note and with some positive news. And when it comes to cancer, any developments in treatment deserve an applause.
And this week we learned that the FDA has approved a drug that's been shown to extend the median overall survival for people with advanced pancreatic cancer by nearly double.
I didn't realize how serious that was.
Oh,
but
so serious, so deadly.
Yeah, we learned that Utah's top cancer research center in the state, the Huntsman Cancer Institute, played a role in the development and testing of this new drug.
And we want to talk more about this breakthrough and pancreatic cancer in general, so we're going to go straight to an expert.
Yeah, we have Dr. Conan Kinsey from the Huntsman Cancer Institute, who specializes in gastrointestinal oncology with a translational research focus on pancreatic cancer.
All right, now you're using big words.
Okay, Dr. Kinsey, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
So when I first heard this, I thought this was pretty significant in that what I heard, and you can correct me, is that it's even more effective than it maybe much more effective than chemotherapy.
Correct. So they in the phase 3 clinical trial, they compared this drug as a single agent, and it's a pill, which is really nice. To standard of care chemotherapy, and it demonstrated that there was double the overall survival for patients over top of traditional chemotherapy. And the cool thing about this is, of course, it's a pill, right? So you don't have to go to the infusion center. You don't have to get an infusion. And we here at the Huntsman Cancer Center have been had patients on trial for 4 years now, and there is a few patients that are still on the drug after 2 to 4 years, which is amazing.
So, Dr. Kinsey, let me ask you, my understanding of pancreatic cancer is that generally speaking, by the time it's discovered, it's so far advanced that you're talking about lifespan in months. Is that correct?
That is correct. So about 85% to 80 to 85% of patients are found when we cannot surgically remove the primary tumor, and it's gone to other places in the body. And at that point, we cannot cure patients of the disease. We can only kind of keep it under control. And although this particular therapy, once again, keeps the disease under control, A, it does it for longer, and B, it gives us a base platform to start to work from where we can add on other medications to improve even the overall survival from that. And potentially, even if we find the right combination, look at wiping out the cancer completely.
Wow. So I wanted to just follow up and just say, former Senator Ben Sasse, this is the cancer he was diagnosed with. He announced in December of 2025, so not even a year ago, that he had it, and he was given 3 to 4 months to live. He's still alive, but he's been on this medication, and he said his tumors have shrunk by 75%. Is that, I mean, he's still around, so obviously it has worked well in keeping him on this planet, I guess.
Yeah, so it benefits, traditional chemotherapy probably only has about a 60% benefit rate for patients. So in other words, the tumor either shrinks or is kept under control. With this drug, it's on the order of more 85 to 90%.
Wow.
So it's significantly better.
Wow.
So Dr. Kinsey, tell us what it means that the FDA has approved that. So now is it going to be more readily available for people like you to prescribe, whereas before it was in more of a testing phase?
Yeah, that's right. So when a clinical trial opens, we only have so many slots available for patients to get on a clinical trial, and it's only done at big cancer centers. There was only 60 cancer centers across the world, honestly,
Wow.
that were running this trial, and Huntsman was one of those. We also opened an expanded access program in middle of July. So we did have some patients on this drug prior to FDA approval. But now with FDA approval, anybody in the United States can get this drug now. Even patients in rural Montana, Idaho, those regions can now have access to this drug, which is great.
Wow. So one of the things that I read about the Huntsman Cancer Institute is you were actually a site for even the initial stages of the trial. Do you want to just tell our listeners and us, what is the process that new medications, new drugs have to go through to start and end up with approval?
Yeah, so it's pretty involved. They first have to go through a phase 1 trial where we're really testing how safe is the drug. And that was kind of the question with this is we were blocking the RAS pathway in the whole body. And there was concern that could this be too toxic for patients? Lo and behold, it does have some side effects, but honestly, it is better than chemotherapy that we treat with. And so we figured out in the phase 1 that, what's the max tolerated dose and is it safe? And once we figured that part out, we then move on to how good is it? How well does it work? And that's typically a phase 2 trial. Now in this, the phase 1 and the phase 2 were combined together. And so that was done rather quickly. And we figured out that it was pretty efficacious for patients. And so then it moved on to what's called a phase 3 trial, where we're actually comparing it to standard of care chemotherapy to make sure it is indeed better. And indeed, it did prove to be better than chemotherapy. And so, believe it or not, this was pretty fast. I mean, typically it takes about a decade for a drug to go from phase 1 to actual FDA approval. This drug was such a slam dunk, I guess is the best way to put it, that it literally went from starting phase 1 to FDA approval in 4 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Hey, can you tell our listeners who may not know, including myself, how prevalent is pancreatic cancer, and does it attack certain groups different than others? Like, do men get it more than women? I don't know much about it.
Yeah, so men do get it more than women. There is a male prevalence for it. There's about 60,000 cases per year of pancreatic cancer diagnosed in the United States. And it's the 8th most prevalent cancer in the United States. However, prior to this drug, it was the 3rd most common cause of cancer-related death.
Wow.
So although it was not common, it was extremely deadly to be diagnosed with this particular kind of cancer.
Yeah.
And, like I said, although this is not a cure, it does extend time for people, some people a very long period of time. And as well as it acts as a base now for us to work with in the lab to try and figure out better combinations.
So, Doctor, you talked about RAS pathway. I don't know what that is. Can you explain that?
Yeah. So the RAS pathway is basically, you can kind of think of mutations in cancer as like the gas and like the brake, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And we think of RAS as like the gas. So you're pushing on the gas of the cancer. And RAS, believe it or not, or this RAS protein, this mutated protein, is found in about 40% of cancers. So it's not just pancreatic cancer that we can treat. And in fact, this is being expanded up to lung cancer and colon cancer. And some of those trials are being run here at the Huntsman. But pancreatic cancer was the first to go to because 85 to 90% of pancreatic cancer has this particular mutation.
Oh, wow.
And so that's what made it, the first to go after. And it's basically the primary driver of pancreatic cancer.
Interesting. Thanks for explaining that.
Yeah, we've got about a minute left, Doctor. But is there a combination between this drug and chemotherapy that even gives us greater results, or do they sort of work one or the other?
Yeah, so this particular drug, unfortunately, when they tested it with chemotherapy, it seemed to be too toxic. However, there is another drug that the company has called zoldonrasib, and you may be hearing about this in the future. And that actually improved that. They combined that with chemotherapy, and it was tolerable. And in combination, it improved the overall response rates of pancreatic cancer with chemotherapy from about 30% up to approximately 85% with. Wow. So in other words, the disease was shrinking.
Wow.
With this combination. And so, like I said, there's real hope on the horizon. The wave is building. We're almost about to get to the point where we really are able to control this disease well. Wow. But we just need to do more research and have the funding to be able to do so.
Wow, that's really incredible. Thank you for sharing that with us. We really
Wonderful
appreciate
news.
it.
Dr. Conan Kinsey from the Huntsman Cancer Institute with some great news for us as we end the week. Well, as your kids and grandkids head back to school, are they following the new laws regarding helmets and things like e-bikes and e-scooters? Coming up on Inside Sources, we'll get a refresher on what's changed for the law as we get to this new school year. Stay with us.
10:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story this hour. Utah election officials say they're moving ahead as usual, even as the legal fight over President Trump's mail voting order continues. Weber County Clerk Ricky Hatch says uncertainty this close to November is the real concern.
Doing anything this close to an election is crazy because elections, you want consistency, you want control, you want predictability, and last-minute changes don't fall into any of those categories.
For now, Hatch says Utah voters should plan to vote as they normally would, and election officials will notify them if anything changes. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Not everyone is happy President Trump is temporarily lifting tariffs on certain foreign imports of beef. Bill Bullard is the CEO of a cattle company, and he says the president's move is a big mistake because it hurts U.S. ranchers and consumers.
We need to determine how much of the inflated beef prices is a result of retailers and packers exercising monopolistic power in the marketplace and capturing more than their competitive share of the beef value that consumers are willing to pay.
The tariff removal on beef will last 90 days. Experts were worried there was going to be a bumper crop of grasshoppers this summer, but there haven't been nearly as many as normal. KSL Greenhouse host Ton Bettis says they're not exactly sure why. He says the hard frost we got in April may have killed grasshopper eggs, or it may have been too dry when it was time for the eggs to hatch and there wasn't enough food. Your money at this moment, let's see where the Dow is up just 4 points, so pretty flat. The Dow right now at 53,570. Coming up, isolated storms today, widespread storms tomorrow. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time is 10:32. Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
The movie show broadcasting live from NPS in Layton today. I've got Brooke here from NPS, the Layton store. And you guys, I've never come in here and seen things in the exact same way twice. Chris is always trying to tweak it just a little bit more, make it a little bit better, a little bit easier to find stuff. He's done an amazing job with clothes. I always seem to find what I'm looking for there. And actually, I usually seem to find things I wasn't looking for. And then I end up getting. And so that's why you got to grab a cart as soon as you come into NPS. Because even if you think, no, I'm only here to grab one or two things, you'll end up getting more, and
100%.
You'll be paying less for those more things than what you would have paid for just the two things you came for at another location. Because you guys have the exact same stuff, brand new, tags on, everything. These are not returns. These are not donations. These are brand new things with their tags, but you sell them for 30 to 70% lower.
Absolutely, and I always see customers leave with their carts full, and that's kind of our thing. I mean, you come in and you save so much where you would spend in other stores. And then that extra money you get to use towards fun, or you get to use towards those things you need.
You know, I look at this as it's kind of like a symbiotic relationship. So people support NPS, a local business that's been around for 60 years. You support NPS, and then when the inflation hits and the rest of the economy struggles, you come to NPS, and that's where the thing is rewarded because you kept them in business, and then when you need them, they're there.
Absolutely.
I was thinking about that this morning. That's one of the great things that NPS has. So what are some deals? Look at what are some deals for people who come in just to the Layton store? Let's talk about those for just a quick sec, and then we'll mention a couple that are good at all the locations.
Yes. So we have just the Layton store, 70% off our single plates and cups. I know college is back up and running. People move over this summer.
Yeah.
You maybe just need a new dish set. We're at the place to go. And then for all of our locations, we've got 60% off dresses and fashion jewelry. We're in homecoming season, so we're excited about that.
And this is an additional 50% off the already low marked price.
Yes, it is. Your savings on savings, and I love it.
You multiply it. That's the great thing. There's some grocery savings good at all the stores as well that are movie show specials. Stay with us, and we'll tell you about all the great deals and maybe get you to try something you never would have thought of. Honestly, just walk around the store and you'll be like, hey, I've never seen that before. Gotta have it.
Absolutely.
That's the fun of NPS. 1600 South Empire Road in Salt Lake, 475 North State in Orem. And here in Layton, we'll be here till 1 o'clock at 1150 North Main Street.
Sleep Number's new collections are designed to adapt to the changing nature of your life and your sleep needs. Whether it's the personalized comfort of the Comfort Mode mattress, the targeted pressure relief of the Comfort Next mattress, or the Climate Collection that actively cools or warms to help you fall asleep and stay asleep.
And now, all beds are on sale during our biggest sale of the year. Save 25% on the new Comfort Next Luxe for a limited time, only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. Big on business, including sweep accounts. Love where you bank. And here's Cormac Bone.
No delays on I-15, both directions all across the Wasatch Front. We do have some regular slowdowns to expect eastbound Corey Ride Highway approaching Mountain View Corridor and northbound on Mountain View Corridor from Corey Ride all the way up to 2100 North. But that's just regular slowdowns in that construction zone. Northbound Mountain View Corridor, a little more dense now at 3500 South as well. I'm Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
It'll be a little cooler today with a high of 92 and a few storms passing through. Tomorrow, much cooler with a high of only 81 and widespread rain tomorrow across the state. Right now, it's partly cloudy and 79 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at KSL.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
Hundreds of thousands of kids are back in the classroom right now, and many of them are probably using things like e-bikes or e-scooters to get to school, or maybe after school.
Yeah, you may have missed this, but a new helmet law went into effect in May, and so this is the first school year with those changes. Law enforcement and state safety officials now say it's time to remind people. I think it's important for us to all remind everybody of these changes.
Yeah. So what do you need to know to make sure your kids and your grandkids get to and from school safely and legally? Let's get to it with Jason Metman, Communications Manager for the Utah Highway Safety Office. Thanks for joining us, Jason.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Look, I just want to start right off by saying we've talked about this before, and I still can't keep clear in my head what is a motorized scooter versus an e-bike versus something else. Like I literally can't remember.
Well, I'm really glad you asked, and we are so excited for kids to get back in school. We just want them to get to and from school safely, and we want parents to know what's happening before they send their kids out on the road. So what we want you to do first off is check your device. Do that research before you even purchase to know what class of e-bike that your child is going to be riding, and understand the rules behind it. We were at an elementary school doing press yesterday where we had e-motorcycles parked in the bike rack, and that's simply against the law. It's dangerous and it's against the law. Kids in junior high school are not legally allowed to ride an e-motorcycle. Wow. You've got to know what your device is before you send them out.
Wow.
So what happened in May? What did the legislature do in May as it relates to helmets that was different before? Because I guess I've always assumed that if you're under, 18 or something, you just had to wear a helmet for pretty much anything that starts with an E.
Well, Greg, I appreciate your common sense there, but it is now the law starting in May that if you are on an electric device, an e-bike, an e-scooter, powered skateboard, all of these devices require a helmet for anyone under 21 years old.
Oh, 21.
Yep, anyone under 21 has to be wearing a helmet if you're on an electric scooter, electric bike, or electric motorcycle. And before you send your son or daughter out on those, you need to know what type of helmet you're wearing. It's not just a standard regular bicycle helmet that you should be wearing on these devices. You need to wear an e-bike or an e-motorcycle specific type helmet that's rated for those speeds and for those devices to make sure that you're safe and have that best protection in a crash.
So where would parents even find out this information?
So you can go to the Department of Public Safety's website. That's highwaysafety.utah.gov. And we're glad to offer you some information there about helmets and about e-bikes, about the law. Just to give you an idea of the scale of this issue, we've had over 1,100 bike and pedestrian crashes in Utah just this year.
Wow.
35 have been fatal. Wow. So 35 families are missing somebody at their dinner table tonight just because of these tragic crashes. And we want people to get out and enjoy those devices, enjoy our roadways, but please do it safely. You need to know that kids under 15 are required to have adult supervision at this point when you're out riding. So you can't send your 9-year-old out on an e-bike unsupervised without a parent that's within earshot or shouting distance to be able to coach them on how to do it safely.
So the kids in my neighborhood that are 11, they're not under parental supervision. So that needs to change. Okay.
That needs to change. Yeah, parents need to be out there watching them. And what we were finding in these crashes is that the kids just don't have the rules of the road. They don't have that muscle memory to know how an intersection works or stop signs or crosswalks and all of those safety pieces.
This is a little bit off topic, Jason, but I own 3 motorcycles, and it always bothers me. I wish in Utah we just had a helmet law because I've seen too many injuries, and once you hit your head, especially significantly, it can mess you up forever. And I have so many friends who ride motorcycles, and they get in accidents, and they have a head injury, and I know, I'm preaching to the choir here, but it just seems like anytime you're on something that's going more than 10 miles an hour, you probably ought to have a helmet on no matter what you're doing.
You really should. A helmet, whether you're on a motorcycle or a bicycle or a scooter, it doubles your chances of survivability when it comes to fatality or when it comes to serious trauma for your head. It doubles your positive outcomes there. So it's so to speak, a no-brainer. You got to put your helmet on every time.
I remember a time, Jason, when for young people to operate maybe like 4-wheelers or something, side-by-sides, they had to have some level of training or a school or something. Does any of that apply to e-bikes where they have to have at least taken a class or something?
Yeah, that's a great question. So currently, if you're out there on off-highway vehicles, there is a course through the Department of Natural Resources here in Utah that you can go and take that training online, and that's for adults and for teens as well. So along with this mandate in May, the legislature tasked DPS with creating a course for e-bikes just like that, that families can take together. And that will start next May in 2027. So we're currently in development of that course, and it'll be required for kids under 16 to be able to take that course and ride independently without that parent supervision.
Interesting. You mentioned that the helmets are, they're not just the typical bike helmets like maybe you can just buy at the local store. So where do people find these helmets?
Well, you need to make sure that if you're on an e-bike, it has to be a CPSC standard tested and rated helmet for an e-bike.
Okay.
This is kind of an upgrade from a regular bicycle helmet. And then if you're on an e-motorcycle or motorcycle of any type, it's got to be a full motorcycle helmet that you're wearing. And retailers can help you out with that. We also have a guide on our website as well. You can find that.
That's great. You know, these are good news, and thanks for what you do, and thanks for what the UHP does, Jason. You guys do great work, and you keep our roads and our people safe.
Yeah, I know these. Go ahead.
I'll just say I just want you out there to ride safe and to call on drivers too. Drivers, the environment is different than it used to be. These devices are faster and just different than what we may have learned to drive with around us, and know that drivers are responsible too. 40% of these crashes involve a driver failing to yield or improperly right turning. So you just got to pay attention and make sure you're watching out for these folks too.
Yeah, those stories are scary to me as a parent, right? And I've got an 11-year-old who thinks they're really fun. We don't have one, but the neighbor does. So
yeah.
Anyway, thank you for joining us. That was Jason Mettman, Communications Manager for Utah Highway Safety Office. And, again, they are scary to me, right? And I've told Jazzy she needs to wear a helmet. I did not realize they needed to have adult supervision. I didn't know that. Now I know.
And I've been guilty of riding my motorcycle without a helmet, like a dummy. But I have a buddy who's a firefighter, and he's a paramedic. And one day he's like, "Scortis, I don't even want to ride with you anymore unless you wear." I don't leave my house on a bicycle without a helmet, but I used to ride my motorcycle without a helmet. Now, how smart is that?
Not
I
that smart.
now wear it no matter what.
Not that smart. Look, our Friday shows just fly by. So next on Inside Sources, we're already going to finish up our week with our friends from the KSL Movie Show. Big question of the week: what's your favorite Looney Tunes cartoon character? Text us 57500.
More than 50 million Americans suffer from a form of mental illness.
And Utah isn't immune, with nearly 1 in 3 people dealing with anxiety, depression, or another form of mental illness.
But there's hope. We can all take action to keep ourselves and our loved ones safe.
That's why KSL has teamed with the Huntsman Mental Health Foundation to bring you hope and help you thrive.
It's Healthy Mind Matters.
Find out more at healthymindmatters.com.
What keeps you up at night? Do you wonder if what you've saved will be enough? If your money will go as far as you plan, or whether your retirement will look the way you imagine? What worries you? Everyone's concern is different, but ignoring it won't make it disappear. This is Ron Paul. You may not be able to predict what comes next, but you can take steps now to diversify your savings with precious metals before uncertainty becomes urgency. My friends at Birch Gold Group will send you a free info kit explaining how gold can help diversify your IRA or 401k. Just text the word SECURE to the number 989898. There's no cost and no obligation. Just free information to help you consider your option. Take the first step with Birch Gold. Text the word SECURE to the number 989898.
The Movie Show is broadcasting live from NPS in Layton today with places already hopping. This is one of the few stores I've ever been to, Brooke, where every single day, not just on Black Friday, not just on like summer blowout sale, you have people lined up outside the door every single day to come in and try to get first crack at the great deals you guys always have.
Oh, absolutely. We love having it.
Now, I had somebody say once, well, I can never get there when they open, and then I bet all the best stuff is gone. And I said, guess what? NPS thinks of that, too.
We do.
How do you combat that?
So we stock throughout the day, which is absolutely amazing. And we do limited drops on certain items that are hot in the store. So a lot of like our trading cards and our like fidget stuff, we put out throughout the day so that regardless of when you come, you can come and pick some up.
And see, this is what NPS thinks of you. They want to give you the chance when you can get here to come and save money. And you guys have great selections on things. The fun, though, you're wearing a shirt that says you're a certified treasure hunter.
Yes, yes.
What does that mean?
It means I see it all. You've got a question, I know exactly where it is. But if you want a treasure hunt, come treasure hunt. It's exciting.
That's the thing. Oh, there's electronics. Let's see what they got. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, I didn't know. My sister-in-law came one time to this one, actually, the Layton store. She was kind of skeptical. She says, I hear you talking about it all the time, but I'm going to go check. She gets there, and she's like, I don't even need a cart. I'm just going to see.
No,
she goes, and she's like, no, okay. I mean, that's a pretty good price. And then she goes, and then she told me, then I found my aisle. is
yes.
what she said. And she's like, oh, got to get that. So she got some, and then she's like, oh, got to get that. And then she says to my brother, go get the cart. Because that's the kind of deals you guys have. All right, tell us about some of the movie show food specials we got today.
All right, I've got some exciting ones happening. I do have 6-pound crinkle French fries for $5, which is amazing. We've got some lime and sea salt tortilla chips for 99 cents. And then my favorite cereal, bunches of oats with almond, family style. So 2 for $3, the big box. Back to school.
That's my wife's favorite cereal,
stock up. It's amazing.
I'm going to probably have to get some for her before I leave today.
100%.
I always do. And then you've got extra discounts on top of discounts. Dresses, 60% off. Fashion jewelry, 60% off. Sandals and flip-flops, 50% off. Clothing, an extra 50% off. Clothing accessories, an extra 50% off. And I was walking through the Bedding and Linens. That was one of Steve's favorite places.
Yes.
An extra 50% off there as well. 4 locations. 2 in Salt Lake at 1600 South Empire Road. Here in Layton at 1150 North Main. And in Utah County, 475 North State in Orem.
Hi, I'm Maria Chaleos, and I'd like to tell you about my podcast, the KSL News Daily. Every weekday morning, we'll deliver one story explored in depth, plus the 3 things you need to know before your day begins.
But this is new. This is where we human beings are able to trick AI.
This is news with context from the journalists you trust.
Agencies were less than willing to speak with us about this.
Find and follow the KSL News Daily at kslpodcast.com or wherever you listen.
Minda, there's a lot of different companies that promise results, but there's very few that you can see the results. Soda Diet and Nutrition is one of those that you will see the results and you just can't deny it.
I mean, you can lose 15 to 20 pounds in a month.
In a month.
In 4 weeks.
And this is why it's so awesome that Soda has extended their 4 weeks free offer until the end of August. So you can have that. You can get ready for holiday season. You will look great going into holiday season.
I lost 37 pounds in a little more than 3 months, and I've kept it off for 4 years. So do you want long-term success and long-term feeling great? Think of Soda.
Yeah, and I lost 70 pounds in 5 months. It can be done, and it feels great. You have more energy, your clothes fit you better, and you just feel confident about a lot of things.
And if you don't want to take our word for it, go look on Google. There are over 10,000 fantastic Google reviews of Soda.
Just call 866-800-SOTA to speak with a degreed nutritionist or go to sotadietnutrition.com because Soda is, say it with me, Amanda,
state of the art.
The new Inside Sources.
So before we go to our friends at the movie show, I do have a couple of fun facts. You mentioned one. It is bow tie day. So
and so I wear a bow tie. I haven't seen my wife yet. I don't know how she's going to look at this. I actually wear a vest, too.
I know. It looks
I was
so
trying
fancy.
to find some suspenders, but they don't make pants that have those little buttons.
Yeah.
All my
tuxedo.
suspenders.
Yeah, tuxedo type pants. Look,
right.
my son is getting married in September, and the 2 dads, the dad of the bride and the dad of the groom, they're wearing bow ties. So there you go.
Good, yeah.
Ahead of the game. So there were a couple of fun facts, too, that happened on August 28th, and I want to just mention a couple. So in 1917, President Woodrow Wilson was picketed by women suffragists. They were protesting that he wouldn't get on board.
He did.
He did, yeah. 1955, Emmett Till, this is the day he was kidnapped and murdered. His body was found 3 days later. That's a terrible story. 1963, this is a very famous speech. It was the day that Martin Luther King Jr. gave his I Have a Dream speech. It was just an incredibly packed National Mall, if you remember, and of course, a very, very famous speech. And then it was on this day in 2012, Mitt Romney was officially nominated as the GOP's presidential candidate. If only he had won.
I think he would have been a great president.
He would have been.
I think he would have been very good. He ran against Obama, a very, very popular Obama.
He was.
And
Yep.
so he had very little chance, but he sure made us look good.
I guess one more, actually, because it kind of relates to the movie show. So it was on this day in 2020 that Chadwick Boseman, he was Black Panther, an actor, and he died of colon cancer. He was only 42, so he hadn't let that word out, really, and he was doing interviews and stuff. He was really sick. In fact, he was dying, but it was on this day in 2020 that he passed away.
Yeah.
All right.
I Have a Dream in 1963. Interesting. I'll probably go listen to that. Well, let's get an end-of-week check-in with our friends at the KSL Movie Show. Val Cameron is out today, so Andy Farnsworth is joined by Larry Tassoni. He's a film buyer at the Larry H. Miller Megaplexes, and they're joining us from NPS in Layton.
Hi, guys.
Hey, guys.
Yes, we are going to talk about the process of how some movies get into theaters, because I know that's a question a lot of different people have.
Yeah.
And so we've got a chance to ask. But Larry also, he sees movies even before I do. Because he's the film buyer. He sometimes sees them like a full month before even critics get to see him.
So everybody wants to know what a film buyer is. Yeah.
It sounds like a made-up job, right?
Yeah. Tell us.
I think it's awesome. I think it sounds really awesome. So
I'm just trying to keep it to myself. I don't even know if my boss knows what I do, so I just don't want to get found out.
That's funny. So
well, we got movies this week. It was tough choices this week because there weren't any that just like screamed big movie of the week, but there were a couple that seemed like they were up against each other. And we ended up going with The Dog Stars because I talked to a couple different people, and they were not as excited about Coyote versus Acme as I was. And I realized maybe it's because I'm a cartoon nerd and all of those things that I was abnormally excited. Also, I thought the quality of it was really good, but that's for the movie show. So The Dog Stars, we decided to go with the movie that has Oscar-winning director Ridley Scott, Jacob Elordi, Josh Brolin, and Margaret Qualley, and Guy Pearce, and Benedict Wong. Yes, Thanos and Wong are in the same movie that isn't a Marvel Universe movie. And I think that was a good choice as well, although I was looking at the box office returns last night. Coyote Acme did a little bit better in the Thursday night previews. But have you guys seen any trailers or anything for The Dog Stars?
Zero.
None.
Zero. Well, Greg, I knew that was going to be the answer.
I saw the Acme
I thought
one.
maybe Holly saw like a trailer or something. Okay.
No.
Well, so what this is, it's a post-apocalyptic future. A flu pandemic has killed, for what we know, this whole movie takes place in Colorado. In about 10 years from now.
Oh,
and
great.
so what we don't know is if it's spread across the entire country. We assume it has, but we don't know that. And what it is just everybody's sort of trying to survive for themselves in Colorado. And Jacob Elordi has a little Cessna 182 plane that he wants to fly and check out some other cities. Josh Brolin is like one of those survivalist guys. Like this was honestly what he was prepared for. So he's got the compound with the weapons and the food and everything. And, you know, he's basically paramilitary. And I think it said he served at one point in the military. I don't know, Larry. You'd have to help me out on that.
I think they just imply it. I wondered the same thing because at one point I wondered if Jacob Elordi's character also served in the military because they were clearly trained to be able to protect their area.
And I assumed that Josh Brolin trained him. But they don't really go into that. It's kind of a self-contained story. Guy Pearce is another guy who's sort of, he's Margaret Qualley's father. They end up running into each other. But what this movie really is it's hope versus pessimism. And Josh Brolin sort of represents that pessimism. Like, hey, this is the way the world is. He's like, we just got to keep going. We got to survive. And Jacob Elordi's like, I'm kind of tired of only surviving. But then you get some flashbacks to what Jacob Elordi lost, but we never know if or what Josh Brolin lost.
Yeah, that's true. They don't get into, because both Guy Pearce and Josh Brolin play these kind of like grumpy father figures to each other's, kind of child-ish character. One, is father to the daughter. But yeah, you don't really know what they've lost as much. It focuses on the younger actors' characters and what they've lost and how they're trying to now survive in this new apocalyptic world. And I loved the fact that it dives into just how do you move forward? How do you find a way to move forward?
Yeah, when it looks hopeless, is there a way to have hope? That's what I thought was the best theme of the movie. The gorgeous views of Colorado from the air, looking down, like watching him fly over the wilderness parts of Colorado. That was worth it. We saw it in IMAX, and so that looked great. I mean, I don't really enjoy survivalist type movies much, but I enjoyed this one.
Do you recommend it,
That's The Dog Stars. And by the way, there is a dog in it, but not the whole movie.
All right. Well, I messed up the movie question, so tell us the right movie question, Andy.
The right movie question, since the other movie is Coyote versus Acme. And we wanted to have a question that people could have wide-ranging opinions on, and it's fun to reminisce. So what is your favorite Looney Tunes cartoon? Now, I don't expect you to know the actual title of the cartoon. If you do, great. But if you don't, that's okay, too. You could even go with, it's sort of like the Friends episode description. You know, the one where Bugs Bunny does this? We'll know what you mean. So what's your favorite Looney Tunes cartoon? And I know that Greg, he doesn't see a lot of movies, but there is zero chance he has not seen Looney Tunes cartoons, either growing up or, before he got so busy with his law career.
Yeah. So any Looney Tunes cartoon that has this language is my favorite.
Don't look much like Los Angeles to me. I knew I should have taken that left turn at Albuquerque.
I love it.
Oh,
I can't tell you how many times I've said that whenever I've seen the sign for Albuquerque or Albuquerque Airport.
Right.
That's funny. That's funny. I have one.
I thought I saw a putty cat.
So I went with a character.
I did saw a putty cat.
So Tweety Bird.
And see, I never liked Tweety because he was too smug and he never lost. And maybe those two things were related to each other, but I always had sympathy for Sylvester the Cat. I always had sympathy for Wile E. Coyote because they never achieved their thing.
Right, yeah.
But it was funny to watch them fail.
So I know that you're going to have a bunch of textures, but what do you guys have? You only have a minute left, maybe 45 seconds.
All right, Larry, what about yours?
Well, I mean, if we're looking at quotes, because I don't have specific episodes, but I always loved, like Yosemite Sam when he'd be, my biscuits are burning, and those kind of moments. So,
see, for me, my favorite one, and I just laugh thinking about it. There's one called Hillbilly Hare where Bugs Bunny's fighting these two sort of backwoods Hatfields and McCoy type guys, and at one point he sneaks into the barn and he takes over for the square. He dresses like a girl to get the boys to come in and square dance. Then he swaps out for the square dance caller, and then he just calls out a bunch of violent things that they have to do to each other because he's calling it like a square dance. Grab that beard and tug and pull.
All right. Well, thanks for that. I do like. I liked the cartoons that were the wolf and the sheepdog. I thought those were great.
Yes,
actually,
Wile E. Coyote and
yeah.
Actually, it's not Wile E. Coyote. It's Sam, and it's I forgot his name now. I actually spell.
Well,
all right.
Anyway,
have a good
I love
weekend,
those
guys.
characters. You guys have a good weekend too. That's it for Inside Sources. We'll be back next week, and we're turning it over to the KSL Movie Show.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
11 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Claire Scott. KSL's top story this hour. The Provo City Council is hoping to reduce light pollution and improve nighttime visibility by putting new regulations on outdoor lighting.